Serious. Why were you bullied? Before we start with the first story, please hit a subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Story 1. We were poor. My mom was an alcoholic and drug addict. She never got up in the morning, so being a kid, I didn't understand brushing my hair or taking care of myself. Mom never took care of me, so I had no frame of reference. I was dirty, smelly, and hungry all the time. Kids don't like that, so kids picked on me all the time. It's Story 2. I looked older and was often accused of being a narc or undercover police. I was just always tall and looked grown when I was 8. Made good grades. Teachers let me leave class to go to the library all the time. It was lonely. Story 3. Being effeminate and sensitive. Living in a place where you had a bunch of conservative military brats and Latinos preaching machismo. I was seen as a threat to their ideals and bullied mercilessly. I was even bullied by teachers. Story 4. I was bullied for being the quiet, nerdy kid who always had their nose in a book. My interests didn't align with the mainstream, making me an easy target for those looking to assert their dominance or just fit in by picking on someone perceived as weaker or different. Story 5. As a kid, because I was an anxious, introverted freak who rarely pushed back and kind of believed I deserved being abused, and/or the powers that didn't care about said bullying. As a teen, because I was too stupid trusting. Story 6. Being broke, being weird, being chubby, being quiet, being loud, being an individual, falling in line, wearing clothes, not being able to afford to vacation or have experiences, having emotions, playing dumb, liking non-trendy music, liking non-trendy movies, shows, enjoying cartoons and anime, liking gaming in my late 20s, making art, wanting to be a photographer, the way I play billiards, being quiet when I used to drink, etc. Story 7. Because I'm autistic. It made me a social outcast, especially in my first secondary school in a class where I was the second youngest, 12 at the time, with a lot of 14-15-year-olds, and that made a very easy target. The experience in my other secondary school where I was transferred to wasn't any better. There, I was bullied even further because I was deeply traumatized from the bullying in the previous school, which resulted in extreme social anxiety. That made me a social pariah in my class, and everyone hated me. So in short, it wasn't my fault, but I was treated like crap just because I got dealt a bad hand in life. My childhood, that is. My childhood was a nightmare. Story 8. I had a mix of ADHD and a good batch of trauma growing up, which made me very out of touch with reality and super imaginative, therefore. Very weird. I was the kid that was playing warrior cats out on the playground in early middle school, and I don't think I have to say any more than that. I was physically bullied before that back when I was in elementary school, probably for being a tomboy, but I don't know. When I realized I was acting too weird for people, I eventually stopped, and when people tried to pick on me, growl at me, bring up how I used to act, I'd look at them like they were crazy act, confused, weirded out by them, and didn't really respond or react, and it put them in an awkward position. The key to stopping bullying for me was not reacting to it unless it's physical. I handled the physical with physical. Made someone cry, I punched him so hard once, then apologized so I wouldn't get snitched on and ran away. Story 9. I'm not sure because I was a large, well-built kid and good at fighting. I got glasses in 6th grade, and this kid on the bus asked if he could see my new glasses, then said, "I can't hit a kid with glasses," and punched me in the face. I asked for my glasses back and proceeded to wail on the kid till the bus driver pulled me off. Like a week later, the same kid pisses on my shoe from the stall in the bathroom and laughs like a fucking idiot. I kicked in the stall he was in and he said, "Oh sh*," and I wailed on him again. Lots of kids just wanted to fight me and I never understood why. Story 10. My dad, public school superintendent, hired black teachers in an all-white town in 1972. Our home and car were vandalized. I was bullied by fellow junior high students, hit by car 2 times on way home from school, had to be escorted by bodyguard for rest of year due to death threats. Racism sucks. Town and school are integrated now. What a world. Story 11. I was in a car accident when I was 5 years old, and in short, The accident involved me slamming face first into the dashboard of the car. Had a lot of facial fractures, a totally broken nose. My jaw was in awful shape. Had to have my jaw wired shut for a couple of months so it would heal properly. And I have had a dozen surgeries in my life to fix correct issues as I grew. The kids I went to school with when I was in the accident knew about it, and they all wrote me get well cards and whatnot, but nobody really knew what happened to me. They were little kids. So they just knew that I was in an accident with a drunk driver, and I was out of school so I could heal. Once I hit high school, the same kids who sympathized with me now had a new nickname for me, Iron Woman, because I have metal plates in my face. No idea why kids go from good-hearted, innocent, beautiful, all-loving humans to judgmental assholes in the course of a decade. I never let their comments get to me, though. I knew I was lucky as hell to even be alive and thriving. I also got bullied for my smile, because my top gums show a lot. Got called horse girl by a group of stupid boys for almost a whole school year. But it died off because I didn't entertain their shit. It's something I am still pretty insecure about to this day. I'm 33 now, but I don't let it stop me from smiling. It's more of a flaw that I pick apart when I see photos of myself after the fact. Story 12. I don't know. I was told I was ugly, maybe, and fat, not really, but tall. I didn't choose to fight my bullies. I chose to take away their ammunition by keeping to myself, but that didn't work either. I was already the designated punching bag. So they made up stuff about me, like that I was snitching on people when all I did was hide during lunch, lol, now that I have my ADHD diagnosis. I've been learning more about it and its relationship to other spectrum expressions, and research shows that ADHD peeps can struggle with social cues similarly to a SD. So I'm wondering if maybe I was giving off some weird subconscious tell that other kids were picking up on? Forever a mystery. Story 13. Karma. I was a bully in elementary school, like a real cartoon-style bully. If you wore glasses and looked like a nerd, I made you a target. I shoved the weaker-looking kids around, pinned them up against the wall, called them names, etc. Whenever one showed enough heart to stand up for themselves, I'd punch them in the face. Back in the 90s, elementary fights at my school began and ended with only one punch being thrown, because usually whoever took it would start crying and then a teacher would come break it up. Anyway, that's how I was back then, and I don't really know why. Nevertheless, everything changed for me when I moved states during middle school. I'm not exaggerating when I say the middle school kids at my new school showed me a level of violence I was not ready for. My very first week, I got to watch a fight break out between two boys that went the distance and beyond my one-punch concept. These kids were swinging for the fences at each other, and the victor downed his opponent, then began to stomp the ever-living shit out of the kid's face. The very next day, I saw a girl fight that ended when one of the girls grabbed a stack of freshly sharpened pencils off of the dry erase board and began stabbing the hell out the girl who was pulling her hair. Needless to say, I was shook. And from that point on, I became the archetype that I used to bully, a nerd, as a survival instinct, because that was the only other character style my childish brain understood. The nerds of my new school accepted me and I made peace with the change. Also, I ironically made way more friends once I became nerdy than I had when I was a lil asshole. Story. I was bullied during a short time in junior high because I had finally found my style, which made me happy, is hippie clothes, wearing Birkenstock to school, etc., and just owned it, which apparently pissed other kids off. They started telling me I was dirty and a slob. Most kids were rich or had an important last name. I really didn't care. Ignoring them while just being proud of myself made them step back and ha. A few years later, one of the most hateful girls started dressing just like I had done before. Loser. This has taught me to not care at all about what people say about the way I dress, because I don't care either what they wear. It's just, why would that be my business? Story 15. Not me, but a friend who was being harassed by a linebacker who wouldn't take no for an answer. Then he got his friends involved. The douche who spearheaded the harassment was the quarterback. Let's call him James, because that was his name and I'm lazy. James was good-looking, rich, arrogant, did well in school, seemingly without trying. His parents had fertility issues and he was the miracle baby they unexpectedly had in their early 40s. The point is, James was beyond spoiled. One of James's buddies, a linebacker on the football team, let's call him Fatas, kept asking my best friend out. She was not allowed to date and she wasn't interested in Fatas, so she rejected him. Repeatedly, Fatas started harassing my friend. At one point, Fatas grabbed my friend's butt in the hallway. She reported him. Fatas ended up suspended from the team for 2 months. Many other girls had reported him before. So James, the quarterback, and several teammates started harassing my friend non-stop to avenge Fatas. After a solid, miserable quarter of this, Fatas was back on the team and most of the players backed off. But James did not. He continued harassing my friend for another month before randomly asking her out. She refused. He said if she went on one date with him, he'd leave her alone. She refused. He stepped up the harassment and she finally agreed. I don't know what he did, but she agreed to a second date. Now they're attending the same university and living together. She's happy, and I'm glad for that. But it fucking sickens me that this guy got away with this shit and got his victim to fall for him. All right, folks, that's a wrap. If you like more of this, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your thoughts in the comment below. I'll see you in the next video.